Today on the channel, we got something brand new from the Wrestling Everest series. We got the Macho Man Randy Savage from Latoonie.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, back again with another wrestling unboxing and review. And today we got something new, something extra special. We got the Wrestling Everest series from Latoonie with Macho Man Randy Savage. But for all your Latoonie needs, you got to go over to Latoonie. Where else? Check them out. We've seen Latoonie. We've unboxed a ton of Latoonie, and a lot of those have been Macho Man on the channel. And if you're looking for any of those, head over to the Latoonie website. I'm very interested in that upcoming Inoki figure. I'm very wanting to get a piece of that. We'll see what happens there. But a lot of stuff over there. A lot of Macho Man, as we do know, but we're branching out. We're getting some more figures. The Tito's Ariba. We're getting some Marty Jannetty's, as we do know. British Bulldog in the future. We've had a lot of Andre the Giants. So Latoonie doing a lot of different stuff over there. A lot of different toy lines, a lot of different sizes. A little confusing at time, I will say. But this one is an interesting take. This is an extra deluxe figure. Now, maybe not the size a lot of people are looking for. I don't know if large, oversized wrestling figures have always done the best at retail. We think back to the Jakks days. You had those, what were they, like Maximum Aggression or something like that. There was a lot of those figures. You go back to the pull chain Hasbros, which we'll do some comparisons to of this one. The Galoob Giant Wrestlers once upon a time. We've had a few other ones from Jakks along the way, and I think Mattel even put out some giant figures. But any of those lines never seem to last a long time. So it'll be interesting to see where Everest goes in the future. We know we got Hawk and Animal around the corner. I believe Demolition coming as well. But Macho Man, a heavy hitter. A lot of Macho Man collectors going to want to jump in on this one, and we'll do some more comparisons later in this video. But before we get into it, unfortunately for me, the UPS driver apparently hates Macho Man Randy Savage. He must be a Warrior guy or a Jake the Snake guy maybe back in the day. I'm not sure. But it's been a heck of a long time since I've had a package that looks like it was maybe dropped out of an airplane. It's been a long time for that. And I'm a guy that gets a lot of packages, and you think I get a lot of packages? You should see what my wife's up to, but more about her on the podcast, as we know. But this came absolutely destroyed. My wife came downstairs. I was sitting right here, and she said, I got something you're not going to like. And the UPS guy even wrapped it in like a clear protective package just to try to hold everything together. But this thing looks like it was dropped out of a plane and then driven over by a truck. But that being said, thankfully, this is a figure that's not going to get easily damaged. It is a kind of big rubber guy style, I do believe. So nothing's broken here. I guess we'll find out when we get it out of the package. But this thing has seen better days. And I did talk to Latoonie. I let them know about that. But I'm not going to do any kind of return or anything. I'm opening this anyway. So I'm fine with this. I guess I'm glad this happened to somebody like me than somebody that needed this mint on card. That's what I always kind of think of right there. But now looking at the package, you're going to see some beat up style here. But Macho Man Randy Savage at the top. Everest collection across there. I'm not sure if I really like that block in the package like that. I think it would look really cool. It's just a clear view. You do got the pillars here. I believe New Gen style. Is that New Gen style? Kind of reminds me of the New Gen arena from Mattel, which doesn't really match with this era of Macho Man. But still, it looks okay. It's what they're going for here. Now on the side, we got some readouts. This side says, too hot to handle, too cold to hold, like the Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, we're in space, and space is the place. And then on this side, on the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour. 10,000 years as Intercontinental Champion. Ooh, yeah. I think he beat Honky Tonk Man, if I'm not mistaken. Honky Man only had like 300 and some days or whatever. 400, 600 days. 10,000 years. Wow. Expect the unexpected in the Kingdom of Madness. How about that? Looking pretty good. And then on the back, we get some Macho Man images here. Looking like that, Macho Man Randy Savage. And we do get some blurbage back here. It says, Macho Man Randy Savage, born Randy Mario Poffo. Mario was a professional wrestler and actor who rose to fame in the 1980s and 90s. Born on November 15th, 1952 in Columbus, Ohio. Beautiful this time of year. I was in Columbus, Ohio for PowerCon a few years back. Savage grew up in a wrestling family and began his wrestling career in the 70s. Savage is best known for his time in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, where he became a two-time WWE World Champion and one of the most popular wrestlers of the era. He was known for his flamboyant personality, distinctive voice, and signature catchphrase, "Ooh yeah," and was retired by the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7. Yes, it's true, he was. Oh, that wasn't on there? I thought it was. I was mistaken. But you can see this guy got hammered pretty darn hard, but we're going to get him out of the package. We're going to see what all the Everest fuss is about. There's some fuss. Whenever Macho Man's involved, there's fuss. Let's be honest. See you later. Goodbye. Plastic prison. He's staying in the prison. Look at that. Big one. Right there. I'm going to get it out. There it is. See you later. Goodbye. All right. I don't see any broken pieces or anything. So Macho survived the fall. Now, I got to be the first to admit this feels totally different than what I was assuming it to feel like, but it shouldn't be that way in my brain because I assume this is going to be just a giant LJN figure. That's what I was assuming. It does have a little bit of a rubbery outside feel, but it's a lot more plasticky, obviously, and it really is more akin to the pull and talk wrestlers, which he's always comparing to, and he being Latoonie over on his website. We also have articulation on this I was not expecting. So you got waist articulation, and look at old Randy. I can just see him on the beach posing for all the ladies left and right. Liz, close your eyes. Kind of like me at the grocery store when all the moms are there. You know, I'm always grocery shopping. I'm always in the grocery store. I'm never doing an online grocery pickup. No way. That goes against everything in my heart and soul of my day job. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I want to catch the vibe. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's moving and shaking out there. And a lot of times these single moms with kids, and they're like, oh, who's this guy? It's Bread Jesus. Oh my gosh, let's go talk to him. Let's go bow to the altar. That's what they say, Todd McFarlane. You were there not too long ago with me. And the other day I had a pineapple in my cart, and I wasn't aware of the significance of having a pineapple in the cart. And the ladies just all over me. What can you say? But how did we get on grocery talk? I don't know. But anyways, Macho Man got the articulation right here. Now, it is Mega Powers Macho Man. Looks like it would fit perfectly with Hulk Hogan, as you can imagine. He's got the red and yellow going on. You got the yellow in the glasses. You got the red bandana, the red knee pads. Got those yellow Macho Man boots here. Got the stars on them, the white laces looking good. Macho Man on his butt so he doesn't get these tights confused with, of course, Tito Santana in the locker room once upon a time. Looking pretty good. No extra articulation outside of that. You can't even really power them like you can with an LJN. But all in all, a big figure, fairly light. I wouldn't say super, super light, but as I was saying, I felt like this would be like an LJN, but I should have known that holding the package. It would have been a lot heavier there. But an interesting take on this, and nobody else is really doing this size in the retro game, so it's either going to have legs for the future or it's going to crash and burn. That's how I feel about this Everest line. It's so different than what everybody else is doing. It could really take off. But that being said, there's always to watch out with stuff like this because people have only so much space. I can speak to that. You can speak to that. We all have our own space confinements. And it's hard when you get big figures like this. Do you have room to display them? And then if you're going all in a line, you got room to display 12, 13, 14 of these, maybe more in the future. That's what gets difficult with these big figures. So you got to kind of vote with your wallet and decide what you want to do for your collecting goals. Or if you're an all-in Macho Man guy, you got to have this. There's no doubt about it. Right there. And I could see this easily being repainted in the future. You could do all the different trunk styles of Macho Man. If anybody knows how to get the most out of a contract and the most out of their molds, it is Latoonie. There's something to be said about that. Time is money. Costs associated with everything is money. And getting the most out of your money is the best way to go. So he's doing a pretty good job. You could make the case too much, but it's to each their own, of course, as we know. But not a bad piece of business. Actually, better than I expected it to be. And I'm always happy to report that. You always go in thinking you know what you're getting yourself into. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I actually like this a lot more than I thought I would. So that is pretty darn cool. And it makes sense not to be an LJN because of the weight, the hard to do part. And I don't think it would stand very well if it was a big LJN. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But it is an interesting look. But speaking of Latoonie, we've had this version in the LJN style, as we can see here. We've also had it in the Hasbro style. So if you're a Mega Powers Macho Man fan, look at that. We got 3 different sizes of the Macho Man right here. There's something cool about that, I will say. Getting the most out of your Mega Powers gear, there's no doubt. Now, I did grab the Hulk Hogan, which this is kind of based off of, and it does definitely feel more like this than I thought it was going to feel. So, does it match up? Does it look like it belongs in the same line? I don't know about that. I don't know if they ever claimed that it's, a continuation of this line. Obviously, there's no pull string or anything like that. But I don't know. Not a bad piece of business, all things considered. It is something different. I will give them that. I don't know if it's going to set the world on fire. It's going to be pretty niche collection for most people, but I like it when people take chances. There's always something fun with that, and you never know when you might strike gold, and maybe they did with the old Macho Man Randy Savage. We'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. You getting this one? You need this in your collection? You picking up this Macho Man? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the old subscribe bell. And we got 2 YouTube channels to keep you busy. You guys know that by now. We also got Patreon memberships and YouTube channel memberships. Either or, pick your poison. Your best way to support the channel. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is also the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available each and every single Tuesday wherever podcasts are found, with video cast on YouTube. So for the Macho Man Randy Savage, I'm Kyle. Ooh, yeah.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I'm sorry.